Hi, I'm AJ Petrarca from Kettlebottom, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make duck wrapped in bacon. It's a pretty simple, easy recipe as an appetizer. Right here we have some duck breasts that were, the bigger ones are mallard and the smaller breasts are teal. And basically what we're going to do is make a quick and easy salt brine to remove a lot of the blood from the breasts and feathers and shot that may be left in there. All right, as far as the salt brine goes, just take some cold water. You just need enough to make sure all the breasts are submerged, and then just liberally sprinkle some salt and mix it all up. It's kind of this part of the recipe isn't really too dependent on quantities. So now that the meat is in the water, you just want to, like I said, take some kosher salt and make a nice little salt brine, and just let that all sit for a bit and let the brine do its work. Now that the breasts have been sitting in the brine for a little while, and you're pretty happy with the amount of blood that came out, you can just take each breast out. And I like to pat it dry, and then at this point you can cut it into bite-sized pieces. I like to take off any extra fat that we could do without. And then once it's trimmed up to your liking, you can just take it and cut it into pretty much bite-sized strips. So that it can go right into your marinade bag. You can marinate also on a plate, but I find it easiest in a bag because you can really mush the breast around with the marinade to make sure it's nice and evenly coated. Now that we have the duck all cut up into nice bite-sized pieces and cleaned out, we can go ahead and add the marinade. And as far as marinades go, it's kind of your own personal preference as on what you want to use. I've tried a lot of different types. Italian dressing is just a really good, simple marinade that works on a lot of different game meats and is really, really good on duck especially. And the amount that you add kind of depends on how much meat you put. You just kind of want to liberally marinate the breasts in there, just enough to really coat all of the breasts really well. As I mentioned before, I like to marinate in a plastic baggie like this, a freezer bag, just because you can really, swish it all around and make sure they're all covered up. You can also marinate in a plate if you don't have freezer bags. Okay, now that you have your duck marinating in the bag, you can go ahead and place this in the refrigerator to marinate. You can marinate anywhere from 4 hours up to 24 hours. I like to just throw it in overnight. I think that's gives the best flavor to the meat. So let's go ahead and throw this in the fridge. All right, now that the duck's been marinating for a few hours, we're gonna go ahead and start to wrap it in bacon. And while the duck was in the refrigerator marinating, I actually started to soak some toothpicks in water. The reason why I do this is because I typically like to make this recipe on the grill, and when you put the toothpicks on the grill, they tend to burn unless you soak them in water. So this really helps out a lot. But since my grill's snowed in today, we're gonna go ahead and make this recipe in the oven. So let's get started with the wrapping. I usually like to use about a piece of bacon per piece of duck. So you take the half a piece of bacon and simply roll it up. And then you take it with a toothpick, you skewer it through, and then you have your first bacon wrapped piece of duck. Okay, so now we have the oven preheated to 350, and we're gonna go ahead and just pop our cookie sheet with our completed bacon wrapped duck. Pop these right in the oven. They typically cook for about 20 to 30 minutes, or just until the bacon is crisp and brown on the outside, and you should have some perfect duck bites. All right, we've had these duck bites cooking for about 25 minutes now. They're smelling excellent, so let's take a look and see how close they are. They're looking perfect. As you see, the bacon is nice and golden brown, and the duck looks to be cooked pretty much all the way through. So next step is just give them a taste and see how they turned out. All right, and that's about it. If you'd like to get this recipe or any of our other recipes, just log on to www.kettlebottom.com.